What is up, Pop family? It is Austin here today, and I am bringing you a super dope video. And today we're going to talk about some 5 tips that you can use to kind of speed up your workflow and possibly write better songs. So these are going to be tips that have kind of helped me over the past couple years perfect my workflow and perfect my kind of routine and to kind of speed along my process so I can take more clients and get them their projects faster. So without further ado, let's jump in. Alright, so tip number 1 is going to be talk with a client if you're writing for a client, and if you're writing for yourself or for your portfolio, figure this out yourself. But the main thing that you want to do is figure out the vibe for the project. So, you know, do you want to write for a certain genre as opposed to another? Like if you were going to be on a Spotify playlist, or if the song was, kind of what artists would fall before and after the song? Are there any elements that you definitely do want to use or you definitely don't want to use? These are all going to be really, really crucial when you're writing the song, because if you don't take these things into consideration, you will definitely waste a shit ton of time. So definitely figure these things out first, because before you even bother sitting down, you need to know what they want and what you want with that project. Tip number 2 is once you kind of talk to them and figure out what the goal for the project is, what the direction for the project is, you'll want to actually have the songwriting session, and when you go into that, you should have everything organized. You should have everything that you'll need to have a free-flowing session to kind of help you out so you don't distract yourself or take time away from the actual writing. So for me personally, what I do is I'll have an acoustic guitar, I'll have a microphone over to my side, and I will have a template pulled up on my DAW that I always use for my songwriting sessions. And the reason I use this is because I will almost always write on the acoustic guitar or just my little MIDI piano that's right back here, and I will almost always end up like vocally freestyling either like a drum beat or like a synth lead or even like a basic little top line. So that's why I always have my microphone here, and I have the session set up so basically I can literally open up Cubase, open up this session, and it's got a track that I can record piano to, a track that I can record guitar to, and a track that I can record vocals to. So that way I don't have to take any time. They're all pre-routed to their buses. That way in case I use a track that I need to mix them later, my session is not a shit show and super unorganized. Having all of these elements right beside you before you even go to your writing session will honestly speed up your workflow so much it is ridiculous. Literally anything that you might want to use, go ahead and set it to your side before you even start. That way you don't have to distract yourself when you're actually getting into the writing zone. Step number 3 to speed up your workflow is to keep stuff simple when you're doing a demo. So if you are writing for a client especially, go ahead and, you know, get the basic piano laid down, or get the basic guitar, or, you know, get the basic synth. What you want to do is you want to have maybe 10 tracks at most. Just have, you know, the basic rhythm, the basic melody, the basic vibe, because once you have all of those things, it's gonna help you kind of figure out the direction of the track. You can send that really, really basic demo to a client and see if they're even vibing with it. They might not like the chord progression, they might not like the rhythm, they might not like the tempo, so you need to really figure that out before, you know, you put out a whole 50 to 60 track demo and then that's not even where they want to go with the track, and you just wasted an entire day of writing and producing. One of the key things that I struggled with when I started, and I see a lot of younger guys struggle with, is for their instrumentals or their demo, they'll have a fully fleshed out track of like 60 tracks, and as an instrumental it sounds dope, you know, they've got everything you could want, you know, the drums are sick, the synth is banging, like everything is fire, but when somebody goes to put a vocal on it or top line it, there's really no room left for them. There is a couple people in specific that they write really, really dope stuff, but they just overdo it, so their tracks suffer in the end. Nobody can really take it to the next level with the top line because it's already kind of been maxed out in terms of sonic space and ideal capacity. So definitely leave your tracks a little bit more on the simple side, and then kind of get that, you know, demo vocal laid down. And then once you get a vocal, you can kind of start filling it in. That's where you can start adding, you know, like the synth leads, the extra percussion, the sound design elements. You can get really nitty gritty with them. You don't want to do any of that before you even get the main vocal, because that vocal, 9 times out of 10, is going to be what people are listening to in the song, especially if you're a pop producer. Step number 4 is going to be always be ready to write. So what I mean by this is you can either carry a notebook, but I know we're in the 21st century, so we all have smartphones, or at least most of us. I cannot tell you how many little memos I have on my iPhone of lyrics or kind of song ideas, or, you know, if I see something while I'm out and it kind of inspires me to maybe write a song when I get home, I'll jot it all down. Like right now I've probably got, I don't know, 400 or 500 different memos that were all pertaining to music in my iPhone. And a lot of those have turned into tracks or into ideas. And you know, nothing may happen with that, but at least you've got that there for when you kind of need a creative boost or a creative push. Also, recording voice memos on your phone is huge. Like me and most of my co-writers and most of my clients have countless voice memos on our phone where we kind of just record them. Like if I'm at school and I've got a really, really sick idea, but you know, I can't bust open my laptop and my keyboard and pop in headphones because I'm in class, I'll just kind of, you know, discreetly walk out to the bathroom, you know, not bother anybody, and I'll just kind of hum or sing or beatbox or even say my idea into my voice memo, and then when I get home, I can go ahead and open that and I can kind of translate that into my DAW and get that all rolling really, really smoothly. So don't be afraid to write down any ideas. Don't be afraid to record super, super weird voice memos, because honestly, that might come in a lot of handy later. Tip number 5 is going to be, do not be afraid to collaborate with people and to let other people help you with your tracks. So what I mean by this is, for the longest time, I personally was scared to let anybody touch any tracks that I worked on. I was scared to have other producers work with it. I was scared to show anybody because I didn't want anybody to kind of mess with my vision or I was self-conscious about the song. My writing really grew a lot when I started working with a bunch of co-writers and when I started posting in online forums and kind of getting advice from other people. You know, having extra ears on a track is always going to be beneficial because, you know, when you're working on a track, you really get tunnel vision for the track, and that can be great to kind of keep you motivated to get through it, and it can also really hinder the outcome of the track. So I advise, you know, if the project calls for it or you're having a creative block, pull in a co-producer, you know, post a really basic idea on, you know, a Facebook group or a forum or something like that and kind of see if people are even vibing with it. And with that said, you don't always have to take the feedback, you know? Like today, I just saw somebody posted a really, really sick track and they kind of had like an old school R&B style like key solo in the middle of the song, and I was kind of vibing it, but somebody commented on it and they were like, really not feeling that, I wouldn't have it in there. And the person stood his ground and responded like, I appreciate your feedback, however, that was my idea for the song and that is a vibe that I want to continue, so I'm probably going to leave it. Might mess with the sound design and stuff like that, but it's probably going to stay. And that's okay, you know, like at least he had that idea introduced to him and that made him really think like, do I want this in there? Do I not want it in there? Am I putting it in there for shits and giggles? Like, this stuff is really, really going to help you take your tracks to the next level. So don't be afraid to let people help you. Don't be afraid to help other people. Don't be afraid to, you know, let other hands touch your projects, because in the end, that might just take them all the way to the next level. You know, we're not Superman. We can't do every single thing on every single project by ourselves. You know, sometimes we're going to have to collaborate, and that also helps build a network. You know, I've probably got 15 to 20 producers alone, not even talking clients or artists from all around the world, that I'm writing with or for every single day. And I wouldn't have all those people if I didn't network online. And to be honest, a lot of those people are the reason that I can still afford to be full-time audio. So don't be scared to kind of let people help you with your craft and with your passion. You know, it's all out of love. We all have knowledge to share. We all have connections to share. We all have love to spread. So always pull in other people. Just to kind of recap real quick, the 5 tips that I gave you. Number 1 is going to be brief with a client or brief with yourself what your idea for the project is and what your goal is, because that is ultimately going to be the biggest setback with a project. Is you'll be sitting there for hours with no ideas because you can't see the end vision. Be like Raven Simone and just picture what the song is going to sound like when it's done, and then you can just start producing it. It's really as simple as that. Don't overthink it. Step number 2 is going to be, make sure you have your workspace tidy and you have everything you need, you know? If you write on a piano, have a piano. If you write on a guitar, have a guitar. Have a mic so you can record weird stuff here and there. Have a template for your DAW. That is so helpful. I probably save literally 10 to 15 minutes every single project that I work on, working on, you know, 3 to 4 projects a day. That's probably close to an hour of time that I save not having to set up my DAW with buses and sins and groups and subgroups and all of that shit that is not the fun part. So just have that template and it will almost always work for every single project, I promise. Step number 3 is going to be start basic, you know? Get your very basic idea, just enough to kind of get across the vibe and the, you know, the meaning of the song. and then send it to the client, you know, send it to a co-writer, start top lining it yourself, and then once you kind of get that basic top line and you kind of fill it in so you've got a basic instrumental and a basic vocal, then you can really kind of meet in the middle and you can start doing all your extra post-production, you can start doing sound design, you can build up the track, add in, you know, you take a 10-track project to a 100-track project in, you know, a day or two, and honestly, you're gonna want that vocal in the middle. Otherwise, it's just gonna turn into like a cluster real quick, and you're just gonna have a mess of a project with no room for a vocal. Step number 4 is going to be always be prepared to write. So just carry that notepad, carry that memo, carry those, you know, voice recordings with you, because honestly, you're gonna have really, really sick ideas that you're gonna wanna translate onto paper. So having those will be that creative boost when you're sitting at your desk and you really have no motivation or no inspiration and you're honestly running out of time for that session and you haven't gotten anywhere. Always have backup ideas that you can revisit. And then step number 5 is just grow your network. Collaborate with other people. Collaborate with artists, with songwriters, with producers, with, you know, anybody that can give you a creative edge. Network with them and find people that you trust, find people that you love, find people that you can help and that can help you back. That is honestly the key to being successful. Nobody who's ever a one-man band ever makes it in this production game, because this is all about networking, it's all about love, it's all about communication, it's all about camaraderie, and it's all about connecting with people that are going to help take your skills to the next level and people who you can help take their skills to the next level. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed these 5 tips, and if you have any tips that I didn't mention or things that work for your workflow, definitely comment them down below, because I am always down to change however I'm working to improve, and some of the other people watching this video also might be down to take those into consideration. So that's going to be it for now, but I hope you enjoyed these 5 tips, and I will see you guys next time. Much love. Peace out.